let's have a quick conversation about Personify Financial versus Upstart. Of course, we are speaking about personal loans, and the big question is: should you go with Personify Financial this year, or just stick with Upstart? Okay, I mean Upstart is the better known loan provider, but you'll be really surprised to really see that Personify is really kicking ass too. Okay, in certain areas. Okay, so let me give you a glance into this comparison here. So the thing you need to understand here is that Personify Financial stands out for dedicated customer service. They've been known for customer service since the company was founded. So that's pretty good. They have stellar customer service. But the thing is, a lot of folks are concerned about the very steep maximum interest rates that basically could be a big killer to your budget. Okay, if you were to go with Personify. Now, Upstart actually is a great company to actually rely on if you are thinking about getting a loan through through an AI powered platform, because Upstart uses artificial intelligence to actually guide the underwriting process. And this is not just something that they started doing 2 years ago or last year. They've been doing this for for several years now. Okay, so this is kind of cool. And so if you are looking for a lender to kind of approve you, or at least look at your application with several criteria or several underwriting factors, then think about Upstart. Okay, so this is kind of cool. Now the only thing is that Upstart also has higher rates. I mean, those two have high rates anyway. Okay, but it's important to understand that Upstart wins a little bit in certain areas, whereas Personify wins in other areas. Okay, so if you look at Upstart versus Personify Financial, with Personify Financial, you're getting a maximum loan amount of $15,000, 1 5. With Upstart, you're getting 50. So you can see that if you're looking for a larger loan amount, maybe Upstart is just better. Okay, and on top of that, Upstart gives you a repayment window maximum 60 months, whereas Personify Financial is giving you 48 months maximum. Now, let me talk to you about the details here. I first want to talk about Personify Financial, and then I'll talk about Upstart. So, if you think about Personify, I want you to really think about, like I said before, a lender that's really known for its customer service. Okay, they have a dedicated customer service system there. In other words, they have service reps that will listen to you. They'll pay attention to your credit. They'll pay attention to your budget, to whatever question you have, and they will answer you. Okay, so that's pretty good. But with Personify, you have to be willing to borrow anywhere from $500 all the way to $15,000. The APR is really high, really high. It goes from 36% all the way to 180%. So you're really looking at very high APR. Loan terms 12 to 48 months. They have a 5% origination fee. They also will charge you a late fee, a non-sufficient funds fee if something happens. Okay, and Personify Financial will fund your loan within 1 to 2 business days. So not the same day, but 1 to 2 days. Okay, so Personify is still good for personal support team, free FICO score credit check. So that's kind of cool, and quick funding, relatively quick funding. Okay. On the flip side, Personify Financial is not available nationally. They're available only in 28 states. So right there, you have a geo restriction element to really think about. Okay, and so when it comes to applying for a Personify personal loan, they just ask you a few basic questions to sort of guide the underwriting process. So full name, date of birth, social, bank account, routing number, and account number, your state of residence, because again, they are only in 28 states, so you have to make sure that they are covering your state. The amount of loan that you are requesting, the reason for the loan, your income sources, and your employment details. Sometimes they might ask you to provide also your pay stubs. So let's say your last 3 or your last 6 pay stubs, if you've been paid on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis. So pretty straightforward, nothing really complicated. let me talk to you about Upstarts. So if you think about Upstarts, basically you have a lender that's great for advanced underwriting criteria. Like I said, they actually look at a lot of data points before making a decision. So it's not just like they don't just look at your income or your FICO score to determine whether you qualify or not. They actually they dig deeper. Okay, so that's kind of cool because it means that you have a lot more chances of being approved regardless of your credit score, right? So that's pretty good news. Now, one thing I want to say here is that in this economy, any lender that's going to give you a chance to be approved, I'll take that over any other lender, and that's what Upstarts really offer. Upstarts really offers you the possibility to actually be approved regardless of where you are at, budget wise, credit score wise, or even geography wise nationally, because Upstart is available nationally. Okay, so that's pretty good right then and there. You can see that Personify is only available in 28 states. Upstart is available in all 50 states. That's kind of cool. And Upstart, like I said before, they use artificial intelligence to evaluate your borrower's creditworthiness. Okay, the company's AI model considers not only your credit history but also your education, job history, and other relevant factors. So, for instance, if you are a doctor, if you are a medical doctor, right, and you basically happen to have bad credit. This is a hypothetical example. You happen to have a bad credit. The AI model will still look at your income potential in the future, okay, to actually grant you a loan. So this is kind of cool because this AI approach lets Upstart lend to borrowers with limited credit history. So this is kind of cool. And so, what are the pros and cons here? So, with the Upstart, you have a pre-qualification option. You have a lower maximum rate than Personify's starting rate, right? Because their maximum rate is 35.99%. Personify maximum minimum rate is 36%. And with Upstart, same day funding is available. On the flip side here, one thing you need to really understand here is that you have potentially higher origination fee than Personify. They're charging you a maximum of 12%. That's that's origination fee. You have limited loan terms, and the minimum loan amount differs by state. But the cool thing is they're available in all 50 states, so that's kind of cool. I'm still on Upstart. So the thing is, when you think about Upstart and you think about their application model, it's more user friendly. Okay, Personify Financial also has a pre-qualification process, but simply because they're available in only 28 states means that 22 states out of 22 states in the union will not see their residents actually qualify for a Personify personal loan. So talking about Upstart now, on Upstarts, there is a pre qualification process that allows you to check your rate and potential loan terms based on basic information. So at least you have a glimpse of what you might expect without a formal credit inquiry. Okay. So this is kind of cool. Now, only when proceeding with a formal application does Upstart conduct a credit check, which can affect your credit score. Okay. So let me give you the steps here to apply for an Upstart personal loan this year. One thing you need to understand here is that basically you can see on the screen. So you just go online, okay, go to their website, www.upstart.com. Pretty straightforward. And basically you just click check your rate option. Check your rate option. It will look like something like this on the score. And like they say at the bottom, this will not affect your credit score. They are really, really adamant at making sure that borrowers understand that. Okay. So number one, you do that. You go online. Number two, you want to input your info. So provide details such as your academic background, your work experience, and the intended use of the loan. And this step helps actually Upstart tailor the loan offer to your specific situation. Okay. So this is kind of important. So one thing you need to understand here is that you have like once you input the info, The third step is that you have to go through the pre-qualification process. Pre-qualification. Number four, step number four, the formal application. So once, if you agree with the offered terms, you can apply for the loan. At this stage, Upstart will perform a real credit check. They will do a hard pull, okay? And then you have document submission. So depending on your situation, you might need to submit additional documentation, such as proof of income, right? Or employment verification. And then you have approval and then funding. So the whole process from checking your rate to getting funds is very fast, often within a few days, like 2 to 3 days. So that's kind of cool. And that really tells you a lot about the possibility of getting a loan at Upstart. So what's the selection here? How do you choose between a Personify Financial and Upstart? But before I get into that, let me just let you know that there are some, if you go to Upstart, there are some common reasons why you might be denied. Let's say you have unfavorable credit history, insufficient income, you have a high debt to income ratio, or incomplete application or documentation. So there are scenarios that will disqualify you. So, in terms of choosing between Personify Financial and Upstart, you have to understand that both of those lenders, they offer online lending experiences that differ from what you would get from a traditional personal loan lender, let's say a traditional bank or a traditional credit union. Okay, so you want to consider the ins and outs of the lenders to get the best personal loan for your specific needs. Everybody has different needs, right? So that's something to think about. First of all, the APR range. You can see the APR range really, really, really. Upstart wins big time because Personify has crazy high interest rates, up to 180%. Can you imagine that? This is really crazy. This is really crazy. But hey, listen, it is what it is. Number one. Number two, you have the minimum credit score. So Upstart states that you may qualify with them even with poor credit and no poor credit or no credit history or a score for that matter. Personify does not state a minimum, though its rate suggests that it caters to bad credit borrowers. I mean, they're not going to charge 180% to a good credit borrower anyway. Okay. Next, you also have the repayment terms. So that's an important element to pay attention to. So Personify offers a wider range of repayment terms, allowing you as a borrower to finance between 12 and 48 months. Upstart only offers the two terms, 36 months or 60 months. So they don't offer a range. They offer a definite number, like a definite time frame. So if you're thinking about choosing between Personify Financial and Upstart this year, besides the APR range, besides the minimum credit score and the repayment terms, you also got to think about the time to receive funds, the loan amounts, okay, and the fees. So when it comes to the time to receive funds, basically Upstart is slightly ahead of Personify Financial because Upstart does have they have a same-day financing program, whereas with Personify Financial, you're looking at least 2 days, 1 to 2 days. Okay, so that's for the time to receive funds. In terms of the loan amount, basically you can see that Upstarts actually wins here big time because you get far less borrowing power with Personify Financial. The company caps loans at $15,000, but they do have a low starting loan amount of just $500. Okay, Upstart offers more flexibility with loan amounts ranging from $1,000 all the way to $50,000. So you can see that in terms of loan amounts, Upstart does win here. What about the fees here? I mean, both lenders charge a loan origination fee, but like I said a little earlier, Upstart's Upstart's fee is a little more. Okay, so their fee is up to 12% of your loan amount, one of the highest in the business. Okay, Personify, on the other hand, charges 5%. So, unlike most lenders, Personify adds the amount of the fee to your total amount borrowed instead of subtracting it. This means what? It means that you get the full amount you applied for, but it also means that you are paying interest on a higher starting balance. Okay, something you really think about, especially if you are going to make a move real fast. So, bottom line is, which lender is really better? It really depends on a lot of things. Okay, but you can see that basically, if you are after a lender that can really look at your situation and consider you, or at least evaluate your application based on several criteria, basically, definitely, Upstart is the better lender. Okay, because they use their artificial intelligence model to look at many criteria. They will give you more money. So if you're interested in getting a loan, like a larger loan, Personify Financial is not going to make you happy because they max you out at $15,000, whereas Upstart is maxing you out at $50,000. Also, one thing you need to remember here is that if you were to compare and contrast Personify Financial versus Upstart, the rate is really crazy. The rate is crazy high in terms of what Personify Financial is charging you. I mean, can you imagine 180% versus 36%? So again, this is another thing. One thing I want to say here is that there is an area where Personify Financial really wins, and that's customer service. That's the dedicated service, okay? But also the kind of interest rate you are receiving if you have a better relationship with customer service, okay? So ultimately, what I'm trying to say here is that your choice will depend on both the total cost and the customer experience that you prefer. However, due to Personify's high rates, we only recommend it as a last resort if you cannot get a bad credit personal loan and your only alternative loan is actually a payday loan. Okay, and this is important because you do not want to, again, you do not want to be buried in a like, let's say, underneath some kind of a debt problem. Okay, especially if you are going to if you are going to apply for several loans, or at least you know that you don't have the exact experience to apply for a large loan at a single institution. So you are trying to really multiply the number of institutions where you apply for a loan. So the bottom line here is that in today's conversation, I spoke to you about Personify versus Personify Financial versus Upstart. I give you the update, and we also have some information about the details, the selection, and so on and so forth. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.